Hey everyone, this is Sam from the Game Sharks, and I just finished watching the AVGN movie, which, if you don't know, is the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. Now, I was looking forward to this since he first announced it, and there's been so much hype built up around it because we, as fans, we've all been wanting to see his review on the game E.T. And this is what this whole movie was about. So how could we not be excited for it? And it looks really good, and I watched it and I can tell you it really is good. But I'm gonna give you my review on it, and I'm gonna go through the dislikes first, then the likes, and then my verdict. So let's start with the dislikes. A pet peeve I have in this movie is that they don't show any real games, but at the same time I understand why, because of copyright issues. So I can forgive him for that. But luckily there are some instances where they did show real games. It's just kind of annoying to see fake games on screen and stuff. It's kind of annoying. I hate his friend Cooper. I'm sorry. I hate him. Not so much I hate the actor, but I feel like he didn't have much to work with. His lines are boring. He wasn't funny at all. I just couldn't stand him in this entire film. I wish he wasn't in it, or at least make the character more interesting. I mean, from first scene to last scene, I could not stand Cooper. He shouldn't be, and I knew from the trailer that I wasn't gonna like him, just because his lines in the trailer weren't good. So I was expecting him in the movie to not be good, and I was right. He was not good. It's not the actor's fault. It's just the character. The character's not a good character. He's boring. He's not funny. And again, to go with my pet peeve, this one shot bugs me. There's one shot in the movie that kind of bugs me. It's more like a nitpick, but it bugs me. When Mandy is playing the Atari, when they're driving the van and she's in back of the van, she's playing an Atari game, and it's a platformer game that has shit pickle in there. Now, for one, I hate shit pickle. Okay, you should know I can't stand him. I never liked him. But if you look at the game, the graphics are way too defined for an Atari game. It's not really a big complaint, but for a movie to be made by a gamer, I thought you would keep the little details more accurate. I know it's not really a hate on them. It's not really a bad part of the movie. It's just that it's a little inconsistency that I see. It's an Atari game, and it does not look like an Atari game. So, just a little pet peeve. It doesn't hurt the movie in any way. It's just something I don't like. I think some of the characters were a little over the top, like the GameStop manager and General Dark Onward and Sergeant McButter. But I do understand what they were going for. But sometimes it gets a little annoying, and sometimes their lines just aren't that funny. But for the most part, they're good. So I will say that. And back with Shit Pickle, I must say there are too many scenes with this fucker. He's just disgusting. And when you think about what he is, he's disgusting. I'm just glad he has no lines. He's just put in the movie here or there in the background, and a little picture and a game. I'm so happy that he does not talk. I can't stand Shit Pickle. So I'm glad he doesn't talk, but I hate every time I see him, I cringe. Now let's hope I pronounced this right. I do like Death Malsticks. I do like Death Malsticks, but I don't care for his origin story too much. I would have just liked him to be an alien invader, which he kind of is, but they put too much detail into it. And the bologna sandwich thing is just dumb. And it comes out of Cooper's mouth, so that makes it even more stupid. Sorry. One thing I hate is that they never actually play the AVGN theme song. I mean, it's played like instrumentally throughout the movie. I was just hoping to hear maybe Kyle Justin sing it like once, and it never happens throughout the whole movie. So that's kind of disappointing. I kind of wish the movie opened up with that. Then that's more of a nod to the fans. Like, it starts off with the theme song, but Whatever. Now let's get to the likes. What did I like about this movie? Well, for starters, I really liked the opening. I thought it was pretty epic, the way the title screen looked and everything, the song with it. Again, I kind of wish I had the real song to it, but it looked good. I like the spoof they made of GameStop and Call of Duty. I thought that was pretty funny, because you know the way they make GameStop seem was that's pretty much how GameStop is. And Call of Duty, some average piece of shit shooter, generic shooter, yeah, pretty much all it is. Now the character Mandy, I like Mandy. Unlike Cooper, she has great chemistry with the nerd. I thought the actress that played her was very good. Her lines were funny. She was interesting to watch the whole movie. I love her. She's awesome. I love the record player gag. We know when they want to listen to music in the car, and the nerd puts a record player on top of the dash, and it just starts skipping. You know, that shit's hilarious. You know, because they're just driving and it just skips. You know, because like you can't have a record player play smoothly in a fucking car. You know, it's not gonna happen. Now, one thing I can say, this movie had a lot of cliches, but they seem to be added intentionally, so I can accept it. I mean, they are used very well for the most part, and most of the time they hit their mark and they're funny. Sometimes, not so much, but for the most part, they're funny. Now, I do like the plot of the film. Like, the connection with the game, with Area 51 and a real alien, that's all good. I really like the character Dr. Zandor. The way he tells the story is what makes me buy the concept of this story. His character was very interesting, and actually very well acted. You know, his acting is what made me accept his character and accept the story. Dr. Zandor is a very important character, at least for me. He's the reason why I buy the story in this movie. Now, my favorite scene in this movie is when the nerd and Mandy are upstairs playing the NES, and it sounds like they're having sex. And Dr. Zandor's reaction to hearing it is just hilarious. It's like at first he likes to hear it, but then like it starts to get a little weird. And then he's like trying to ignore it by putting the TV louder. That scene was just hilarious. The funniest scene in the movie. And speaking of Mandy, I love the chemistry she has with Sergeant McButter. You know, it's funny and somewhat arousing. They always seem like they're just a split second away from making out. And maybe that's kind of hot. I'm not trying to be a perv here, but both of them, the way they talk to each other, it's funny, and like I said, it's very arousing. Their lines, their dialogue, the way they interact. So I do like their chemistry together. It's very good. Now, one thing I did like, there are a lot of cameos in this movie. More than I actually know, because I don't know probably a lot of them. I know there's probably more than what I noticed, but I don't watch all of them on YouTube, so I'm not going to know all of them. I did notice Kyle Justin, obviously the guitar guy. Mike Matei, come on. Pat the NES punk. And the Nostalgia Critic, I thought that one scene he had was pretty funny. I can't believe they got Howard Scott Warshaw. I don't know how they got him in there, but that's cool. Keith Apicary, I don't really know his name. I know who he is, and I don't really watch his stuff. I just know him more because I like his Dreamcast 2 song. If you haven't heard of it, I'll put a link in the description bar so you can see it. It's a very funny song, and the girl in that video is just hot as hell, and it's just God. But went on. And Lloyd Kaufman, the creator of the Toxic Avenger. And you know, I don't really care for that episode. I think he tries too hard, and I think in the movie he even tries kind of hard. And I can understand why people don't like him in the episode, but you know, he kind of reminds me of a skinnier, less funnier Mel Brooks. He kind of looks like Mel Brooks, but I remember the first time I saw Toxic Avenger, I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" It was like a bad comedy, bad B-rated movie with lots of sex. I don't know, it was weird. But moving on. The Bullshit Man is there, like a cameo for like one scene, and for a split second, the Glitch Gremlin comes out, which I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know if everybody else saw it, but I saw it. I'm not gonna tell you where it's at. I saw it. Again, I can't pronounce his name. Keith Apicary. Is that what he said? Keith Apicary. His cameo was so funny. That was one of the funniest scenes. And you know, when he jumps into the when he jumps into the fence that's all electrified, he just like gets shocked the hell out of him. That's a funny scene. A very funny scene. The effects are good. Obviously, it's a B movie, but it looks like a very expensive B movie, and I kind of like that. It has a charm about it. And that's the thing, you can tell it's a B-rated movie, but it doesn't look like those cheesy B-rated movies. It looks really expensive for a B-rated movie, and the shots in the props that are B-rated stuff, it's not there because that's all they had. I mean, it could be, but you could tell they intentionally try to make it like that, so it's the funny side of it. So it works. Okay, it just works. The action scenes are highly enjoyable throughout the whole movie. And to get on the alien, I like the alien in the movie. I was worried he was gonna be annoying, but he wasn't. Maybe because he was voiced by Robbie Rist. If you don't know who that is, he came out in the Brady Bunch. He played Cousin Oliver, and even if that's too old for you, well then let me tell you, he played Michelangelo in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. The original film. He played Michelangelo in that movie. So, yeah, maybe that's new enough for you. I also like his design, like the actual alien design. How he looks. When you look at him from a side view, he looks just like the ET model in the game. And and I think just the way they made him for the movie, it fits with the movie. It looks right. It doesn't look bad. It does look right. Now back to Death Maulsticks. I don't know how to pronounce it. He reminds me of a villain from Power Rangers, and reminds me of all the cool Japanese monster movies, such as Godzilla. Speaking of that, I would love to see him go up against Godzilla. And I still think Godzilla would probably whoop his ass, but that's because Godzilla is the king of monsters. Yeah. So, my verdict is, well, I can't really give you a rating because I'm not even sure myself. It's a cool and funny movie, and I loved it. It's a great low-budget independent film. I give James a lot of credit to follow his dream and have it come true. You can tell a lot of work was put into this movie, and it shows. But there are some problems, like this is a big problem for me. I do feel cheated when it comes to the actual review of E.T. because it wasn't very nerd-like at all. I was hoping the end of the movie, like after his journey, I was hoping the end of the movie he would end up back at his house in his room, and pretty much the end of the movie would be like an episode, and where he reviews E.T. and he does the whole nerd thing, cussing, disappointed in the game, pissed off, frustrated, and you don't get that. He reviews the game and he's like too happy about it. Like, it's not nerd-like at all. And it might as well not even be the nerd reviewing the game. It's more like it's just James reviewing the game. It's not the nerd, because the nerd, even with good games, he gets pissed off and he doesn't really praise games too much. And that one, the whole review, he just praises it, and it's not very nerd-like. So yeah, the review, for the most part, I would have rather have saw just a regular episode of him reviewing E.T. just because the review fell short. The review didn't live up to the hype. The movie was good, but the review did not live up to the hype of what it was offered. Because every episode he mentions E.T., he just cringes, he throws the game, he's so disgusted, he doesn't want to do anything with it. And then the end of the movie, you get a review like that. It was very disappointing. I'm sorry, the review was very disappointing. And another note, I mentioned that I like Mandy. I really did like her, but I would have loved the movie 100 times more if the journey was the nerd, Kyle Justin the guitar guy, and Mike Matei. They all have real chemistry together. That would have been hilarious. I would have rather seen all three of them go on a crazy journey than the nerd, Mandy, and Cooper. You know, when you watch James Mike's Mondays, James and Mike have such amazing friend chemistry. It's amazing. But then when you see the episodes with the nerd and the guitar guy, they're hilarious together. So that would have been a much better movie than what we got. But I'm not saying the movie's bad, but it could have been a lot more better. And saying that, I must say, if you love AVGN, and I mean if you love AVGN, then I say it is a must own. If you don't care about him, then you might just want to skip this one. For the most part, I left this movie pretty happy. So, if I must give it a rating, then I must say 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'm sorry. It could have been 4 if there was no Cooper. It would have been a 4 if there was no Cooper. I can't stand him. It would have been a 5 if Kyle Justin and Mike Matei played a much huger part with the nerd. Then they didn't. And see, that's another one of my nitpicks why I must say it's a 3 out of 5. These episodes would not be what they are without Mike and Kyle Justin. Kyle Justin has given us some funny episodes he appeared in, and he gave us the theme song. Mike he does all the title cards. He helps him making some of the videos, and sometimes he's even in the videos, and he plays some funny characters. And so I kind of hate they have a 2-second cameo in the movie, and they're sitting in front of a tent, and Kyle Justin's playing his guitar, and I kind of hate the scene just because it's obvious they're in front of a green screen, and to me it's like they're a much bigger part of the nerd show than everybody else that they show. So I feel like Kyle Justin and Mike Matei should have went on the road trip with them to have scenes together. Like at least be in that scene where all those the cameos take place. They should have been in there because they're a big part of the AVGN, and to me they didn't get a big enough role in the AVGN movie. So I think that's a disappointing part for me, and that's why I can't give it more than 3.5. The half is just me trying to be nice. I could just say a 3 out of 5, but I do like AVGN and I do like the movie, so that's why I give it that half there. But it's a good movie. Could it have been a lot better? Yes, it could have been a lot better. But is it a bad movie? No, not at all. It's not bad, but it could have been better. So again, my final rating, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Either you like that or you don't. I don't really care because it's my opinion, it's my review. If you don't like that, then make your own review and talk about what you do like and what you don't like. But this is mine, so I give it 3.5 stars out of 5. That's just, I'm sorry, it just doesn't get more than that for me. So this was Sam from the Game Sharks. I'll see you guys next time.